This video contains mature and/or graphic content. Parents are advised that these images may not be suitable for young children.
We're going scandalous.
Uh-oh.
We're talking about sexting. I'm going to start with you in the audience. Raise your hand if you're willing to acknowledge you have sent a sext before.
Guilty as charged.
Okay, but what is a sext? Where does a text go from flirtation?
You mean you don't know?
No, but how does
if
a
I had
text
my
go
phone
from...
out here, I'd show you how it works.
When does a text go from just being flirtatious to a sext? Because it's not just about sending a naked picture, right?
No.
Sexting
Right.
is...
It's naughty talk.
Okay.
It's things I want to do to you, things I'm thinking about. I mean, don't get any ideas. I don't actually mean it much.
It can be used as foreplay, and it can be flirtatious.
Yes.
When it gets to be, I want to do this or I want to do that, and I want to, with graphic details, I really don't like that.
Right.
I'll engage a little bit if I sort of like muscle through it, but as a woman, I like the romancing, flirtatious part, but once they talk about what they're going to do with their parts and how, and
Last year, I remember explicitly, and this is part of this conversation, a new study showed that a quarter of sexts are seen by 3 people or more, but didn't you have a guy last year who was sending you some pretty lewd comments on, I don't know if they were texts, but I remember you reading something, and I was shocked at how gross it was. It was a little sketch.
I'm telling you, some women like it. Okay, I'm not one of those, but some women like it.
It's a form of attention. It's a form of
But do they like it because
seduction.
It's attention or because they like that?
I think it's a combination of that. Part of what I think happens with people is it depends on who's on the other end, what your relationship is, and how you feel about it. There are people I know who do not like it at all. There are people I know who like it so much that they are busy sexting strangers, naked pictures of strangers because they don't want to show their own body, and they're enjoying that too. And so that part depends.
We know people are just getting off texting in general, using your phone for whatever reason, social media, but this takes it to the next level.
Kids are having sex earlier, and I think that this type of communication and this type of exchange, which is kind of virtual and compulsive, can be, triggers parts of our brain that are the pleasure reward centers and can become addicting. And
I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I worry about.
I think it's time to bring up the master of sexting, Anthony Weiner.
Who literally does it with his son next to him. Now, I don't know.
Well, the son was asleep.
No, it's...
He's an addict like that. I think I saw that, I thought this guy is so wrapped up in like what's going on that he forgot that the kid was there, and that's just, I feel like he's...
And potentially is something that can become very addictive.
It is addicting because it's a rush. It's an adrenaline rush, and anything that's an adrenaline rush can become an addiction. And you won't believe this, but some people end up depressed. They end up anxious because they get so hooked up into their phone and the whole distortion of reality and the fantasy that's going on that when they find out that it isn't real, they end up...
Maybe if they don't get the response that they're looking for, like, wow, look at you. No.
Right.
I've been distressed because when you open up the paper and the headline is, Weiner is back at it, that affects my happiness. I do know that.
I didn't know you read the post. Good for you.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think he ever stopped. I just think he just got caught again is what happened.
This became such a problem for him. It killed his career. It killed his marriage.
Finally, his wife.
I mean, a big-time problem that has affected him globally in his life.
But getting back to his son, Drew, who's only 4, when you look at the statistics on teens, what is it? Over 20% have sent these naked pictures of themselves. That's where I get worried. Because if you're a kid, and I don't care if you're 4, 10, 12, 15, and you see your parents sending naked pictures and they're aware of it, I mean, you're going to model that behavior,
ideally, they're not supposed to know that. Just like they're not supposed to see you having sex, they're not supposed to see you.
Yeah, but the sad thing that's going to happen with this little boy is we have the internet. So when he's 16, it's going to be online. His friends are going to know about it. And so it's one of those things when you think, what is this guy thinking? And that's what happens. When people get too involved in sexting, they often stop thinking.
You have to assume everything is public. So if you send a sext, just know that picture, the verbiage, very likely at some point will get shared.